Here on the Hermitcraft server, we have a desert area that is designated for mining sand and sandstone. It is not that far from my base, but there are two ways that I travel there. Sometimes I like to go through the Nether and use my Nether tunnel, which means I have to walk 8 times less the distance to get to the desert, and at other times what I like to do is use my rockets to fly all the way over there. Now the other day I had to travel back and forth a couple of times as I forgot a couple of things, and then it occurred to me, I don't know which one of these is the fastest way to get there, right? Because I could be wasting some valuable time. So that prompted me to make this video in which we're going to find out what way is faster of travelling somewhere, using rockets to fly through the sky or travelling through the Nether. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Minecraft myth-busting world. It has been a long time since we were last in this location, and it is of course the perfect place to put our questions to the test. So I have set up this platform right here. We have a nether portal at either end, and it stretches out 400 blocks in total. So over here in the overworld, what I'm going to be doing is grabbing my Elytra rings and some rockets and flying from one side all the way over to the other. I will of course be timing that, and I will also be timing my travel through the Nether as well. So with this being 400 blocks across in the overworld, it means that it's only 50 here in the Nether. So I'm going to be timing my time walking across this space over here as well. And then we'll be able to compare the two, and that way we'll be able to figure out which one of these is faster. So that was my testing. It was very straightforward, and yes, perhaps there was an even more efficient way to fly the Elytra if I aimed it at a certain angle, but I wasn't looking for absolute precision here. We've got a very solid idea of the speeds these things go at. So the flying speed, in 13 seconds we covered 400 blocks, so that is over 30 blocks per second. But of course travelling through the Nether, it is far less distance, just 50 blocks. So the walking speed, it took 12 seconds at 4.1 blocks per second. So there you go, we've actually answered the question of this video, but we're going to get into a lot more depth than just that. Of course we are. You may have seen that we walked through the Nether twice. That's because the second time I actually sprinted through the Nether, and that was even faster still. So 9.5 seconds sprinting through the Nether, which just averages over 5.2 blocks per second. But there are other ways we can increase the speed of traveling through the Nether, right? And this involves ice and boats. So like before, I'm going to do a very similar test traveling from one side to the other. I'm going to be using the video editor to count the seconds after I record me doing these tests, and I'm not going to include it in the video just because you've already seen some music-y, time-lapsey parts, right? It'd be nice if I could get into here. There we go. I'm going to have to figure that one out before I test it, because it's probably now going to be tricky to place that there. Yeah. Anyway, there are two ways of travelling even faster in the Nether. One of them is to sprint on ice and tap spacebar to jump up and down. I'll be sure to do that in survival so I don't actually end up flying. And that's a very fast way of travelling, and I think an even faster way is using a boat on ice as well. So we're going to measure both of these and find out how long it takes to get from one side to the other. As you may or may not know, ice is going to make a huge difference here. So sprinting on ice with those blocks above the head took 3.5 seconds, which is over 14 blocks per second. And even faster was the boat on ice, which took 3 seconds, which is over 16 blocks per second. Now the boat, I think, is actually even a little bit faster than this, because it takes a moment for it to get up to full speed. So obviously boat is the fastest way to travel in the Nether. But is it? If you are a certified Minecraft maniac like Mr. Cubfan135 of the Hermitcraft server is, then you probably would have sussed it out from the beginning of this video that flying in the Nether is the fastest way. Of course, it makes total sense because you can go at the same speed in the Nether, meaning you travel 8 times the distance. But of course, there is a price to pay, which is the price of construction. It would take a very long time to make an incredible structure like this going through the Nether. So it doesn't mean that it's the option you should use every time, but it's something to consider. Traveling in the Nether, you can go pretty much the fastest possible using rockets. So flying in the Nether means you can travel a whopping 240 blocks per second. That is by far the fastest, but these speeds, they all come at a cost, right? They are not exactly free to build, and so what you got to think about is what it is you want to spend your time doing. You could be traveling through a boring Nether tunnel or flying over a beautiful scenic route, and sometimes it might be quicker just to grab a rocket, jump up into the sky and fly to where you're going than travel to your Nether portal. Maybe it's hidden behind a redstone contraption, or it's at the bottom of a long flight of stairs. So consider those things. If you have, in fact, built an ice road, it's probably always going to be a lot faster to use this, either sprinting or with a boat, but it will take you a long time to gather all of the ice that you need to make that tunnel as well. And it would take even longer to dig out all of the space required for something like this, and then even more time to gather the materials to decorate it, which of course is optional. But what I want you to consider is this idea. If you have a big open space in the Nether, and your portals happen to be on either side, then there is no need to actually construct anything. You can just fly from one side to the other. And if that happens to be the situation with your Nether portals, that is probably the best way to go. So what's the fastest way to travel? Obviously, it is rockets through the Nether, but that wasn't the entire point of this video. It was to show you the different speeds you can travel at and explain that everything has a cost and not every speed is suitable to your situation. So hopefully that information has been useful to you, and if it was, leave a like on the video. As always, thanks for the support on this series, and if you're interested in all the crazy stuff going on behind me, you should definitely go and check out the Minecraft myth busting playlist. It is the link in the description box below. But that is it from me this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.